Began to talk to him. He said, I don't know what it is. I just have this feeling, anxiety today. I don't know what I'm facing. I just have a weird feeling. And I know what he's talking about. I've been faced that sometimes on a very, very, very regular basis. Don't really know what's wrong. It's just a feeling. It's just something there that you know that the enemy is out to attack and annihilate. And I come to tell you that the devil wants your half acre. He don't care if you got a mansion. He don't care if you own 100 acres or 1,000 acres. He don't care if you own a quarter of an acre. Whatever you got, he wants it. Jonathan and his armor bearers begin to face a battle. Saul was posted up with his men at this time under a pomegranate tree. He had given up, his army depleted as their hopes had crushed. The enemy was setting up camp in Bethlehem. The promise that was once delivered to God's people was now being possessed by their enemies. The enemy has taken residence in some of our lives. If we let him, he will hold our dreams, our passions, everything that we ever thought we had, he will hold it hostage. He don't have to seize it. He just wants to take everything you got and he don't even have to be on your land. He just wants you feeling his spirit, and he wants you to tremble at the very thought of your anxiety and your problems that the enemy is just throwing at you on a daily basis. Man, I've never seen so much problems in my life. I'm only 44 years young, but it just seems like families are on edge. People's on edge. Churches are on edge. Drivers are on edge. People in the drive-thrus on edge. Was pulling in Lowe's the other day. I know what the elderly gentleman was thinking. I'm the same way, and I got a dad. If he said it once, he said it 1,000 times. That if you see the car going down the road, he said, if you're gonna milk it, get it off the side of the road. People just on edge. I pulled in Lowe's, and I guess the gentleman, I'm usually going 90 to nothing. I guess today I was kind of laid back. I might be facing my old age. And I looked over, had to look over in the corner, and there's an elder gentleman going. In other words, you milk it or you going to drive it. And I didn't get mad. I started laughing because I thought, that's my dad right there. He's probably said, get off the road. But people's on edge. My God, our jobs. We're just one paycheck away from destruction. Time we turn around, it seems like there's no cushion for us. There's no at ease in Zion. There's just no place that you can kind of just let up. It just seems like we're always in a hustle and a battle and strife and problems. What it would be like just to be able to relax and just settle in and all's well. We're just one check. Who knows? Our jobs are in jeopardy sometimes, especially if you work for yourself. You can be doing so good for so long, and all of a sudden the phone just quit ringing. Or you might have a secure job, and like Brother Sean was saying, there could be a head cashier that might get something against you and just on the verge of getting fired because of somebody don't like you if you talk in the break room or if you don't talk in the break room. The devil just, not only does he don't want you living for God, he don't want you to be happy. He's trying to steal the joy and sucking the life out of good, godly saints. And it's not so much that we've done so much wrong. It's not so much that you got sin in your life. And that could be the issue too. But a lot of it is the devil just likes to harass, and he likes to destroy, and he likes to mess with God's children. The enemy has taken residence in our lives. The Philistines had sent a detachment of soldiers to establish a new outpost on the guard. We're talking about 1 Samuel chapter number 14. Opportunity to attack and see the Lord's work. Somewhere we have to face the enemy that he is setting ambushments on us. You remember me talking a few weeks ago about change your routine. If you're always talking doubt, talk faith, because the devil is the type of a person. He has to follow you. He has to watch you. He's a roaring lion seeking whom he may. He has to snare you, and you keep going down the same road. He's going to lay a snare for you time and time again. Change your path or something. The Philistines was trying to do that, and we read about Saul. If you got time to read it, was underneath a pomegranate tree. Hundreds of soldiers and men everywhere. He had done gave up and messed up, and he had done the Bethlehem that was given to the Lord and for the Lord. He allowed the enemy to seize Bethlehem, and here comes Jonathan along. It didn't take much area. He didn't have a big army. All he had was 20 or so men just bouncing down the road in his armor bearer, and the enemy tried to attack, and Jonathan said, I'll take this half acre and I'll annihilate you. You're not getting what little bit I do have. I might not be the boss. Jonathan was not the boss. Saul was in charge, but Jonathan said, oh no, you're not going to take care of me, and my few is going to take care of you, and you're mighty. You don't need a lot to just be mighty in God. The devil wants to take our prayer, take our commitment. You don't have to be rich. All you got to do is be powerful in the Lord. And what God is looking for us today is if he could just get some mighty warriors that don't worry about anything on the outside, that'll say, God, I ain't much, but with you I can conquer. I am more than a conqueror through him that loved me. Greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. I'm going to get past this trial. I don't need a long runway. Just give me a half an acre. Oh, just give me something, because I refuse to be surrendered to what little bit you have to offer. You're not even, if all I had was a city lot, you're not going to get it. Because it's mine. I kind of feel like Shammah did when he sat in their little bean patch. Didn't have much to offer, just a little patch of lentils. Watched the Philistines every day as he prepared his little half an acre, if you please. It probably wasn't much if he was doing it with a sharpened stick and he was taking care of the weeding it all by himself. I can guarantee you it wasn't a whole big area. But finally he said, oh no, I've had this beans for years, and last year you took my beans, and year before last you took my beans, but it'll be a cold day in July before you take my beans again. It might be my half acre, but let me tell you, it's my half acre. It's my family. It's my world, and I'm going to live happy in the world that I live in. Oh, he don't need a lot. He just need mighty warriors in Christ Jesus. Romans chapter number 13 and verse number 1. Let every soul be subject unto higher powers. For there is no powers but of God, the powers that are ordained by God. Let me tell you, God has got it in control. I come to tell you, if you're worried, and I know you're probably pacing your half acre spiritually, if you please, right now you're probably wringing your hands and say, I'm about to lose everything I got. But if you'll surrender yourself to God, every power, every high power only comes from God. The devil can't take what you got. Woo! I'm reminded of the story of David just a few chapters over in 2 Samuel. David finally made a statement. He said, he was in battle. They just had a problem. Matter of fact, if I remember right, this is right after Shammah defended his garden of beans, probably the very next chapter, pretty close to it. David was making a statement. He said, that if I could just have a drink from the wells of Bethlehem. Bethlehem was just security. Bethlehem might have been the old childhood raisins, and he was so stressed out from war and problems and so stressed out with anxiety at the present time. David's worries had overtook him. All of a sudden, he probably had a flashback as a child, remembering dipping his lips in the wells of Bethlehem and sucking that old cold water out and drinking as a child and running through the hills of Bethlehem and just laughing, not a worry in sight, not a bill due, not an enemy at all. And he just come back to reality and said, oh, I'm thirsty. If I could just get a drink from the wells of Bethlehem. And 3 mighty men. Oh, we need some mighty men. And listen to me, young folks. I'm so proud of y'all. I'm proud of everybody, but I really am proud of you, young folks. Thank you for filling that front pew. Thank you for being a part of the service. Thank you for getting involved. Thank you for keeping your life holy and true. Thank you for living for God and being faithful and true. Oh, God needs some warriors. God needs some mighty men. And they just heard the ears of David the king, and the scripture said that they broke through and went through enemy territory. The Philistines, it was a dangerous time for them to even be out. They got out of their little net. They got out of their box, and they broke through the lines of the enemy just to dip the cup in the wells of Bethlehem. They come running back. Oh, David finds himself. Handed him, he probably didn't even realize it, but they come running up to him and handed him the old fresh water of Bethlehem. And you would have thought that David would have just picked it up at that present time and drunk till his body was full. You would have thought because he was so stressed and in battle because of the warfare that was going on, that would have been a refreshment. But all of a sudden he began to realize, oh no, I can't do that. I can't do that. Them boys sacrificed their life. They put their self on line just to break through that I could have a drink from the wells of Bethlehem. And the scripture said he just poured it out. Oh, we need some warriors. We need some people that'll quit using God like a first aid kit and a band-aid. He's not your first aid kit. He's not your band-aid. What he needs you to do is through the thick and through the thin to begin to live for him holy and righteously and godly. In the times of trouble, he needs you to be a warrior. When all hell is broke loose, he needs you to fight the battle. When all things is coming against you, he needs you to be secure. These three mighty men hear the cry of their king and determined to do something about it. And there came a time in the life of most men, and their greatest goal will be to furnish what the king desires. These men were, that the mindset were prevailing desire was to get to the wells of Bethlehem. Not just any well in Bethlehem, but the one that was by the gate. This water was going to cost these men something. This is the way that it was with the king. The things that he valued the most will cost you something. Oh, let me tell you, I know we're fixing to feed the homeless, and we love doing that. But there's nothing free in life. Don't you ever forget that. Oh, there was a man in the Great Depression wrote a statement. He said, don't you ever forget there's nothing free. When they offer you a cell phone for free, don't you think you're getting it for free. Before you get through paying that 2-year contract, you paid for that phone and 10 other ones. When they do them sales leading ads, you'll come in, I'll give you a free $50 coupon. They just don't make money. Billions of dollars giving away free coupons because when they get you in the deal, you'll spend that $50 free plus $55 or $56 on something else and probably $60 on something else. They wasn't born yesterday. When they do that, there's a reason behind that. And the same way with living for God, I know the initial actual cost of salvation is free. Come without money, buy. You don't have to have no money, but after that, it's going to cost you your entire life. You've got to roll your sleeves up, and you've got to fight with everything that lives within you. You've got to turn from many to mighty and say, God, I'm going to live for you in spite of it all. God don't need much. He don't need many. He just needs mighty. That mighty don't mean in stature. That mighty don't mean in prestige. That mighty don't mean in money. That mighty don't mean in a lot of friends. But that mighty means, God, with you I can do all things. I refuse to quit. I refuse to settle down. I refuse to let the devil take my half an acre. The scripture said in the last verse that I read to you there in Samuel, that after they done what they did in that half acre, that the enemy trembled, because the Lord caused a great earthquake. Do you realize 20 men caused an earthquake? Whew. Don't take much. It don't take a lot. I'm trying to increase your faith before you leave. I want your faith to be on top. I want you to face the enemy when you walk outside the door. You're after my half acre. You're after my family. You're after my home. You're after my relationship. You're after my children. Every time I turn around, you're after something. But I'm going to tell you, you're not getting my half acre. It's mine. It's mine. It's mine. Spiritually, it's mine. You're not getting it. I don't need a lot, but if it's God, if this is all I need, I'm going to take care of the enemy right here and right now, because I know who is the winner, and it's God. God don't need many, he needs mighty. If I could pronounce these words right, the three mighty men that broke loose, his name indicates a slender and sharp spear. Adin, the Azanite. He slew 800 men with his spear. Eleazar, the Olite, God is a helper, was the meaning of his name. That was the son of a builder. He fought the Philistines once, and in the rout, when he completed, could not let them go, couldn't even let go of his sword because he had fought so much. Then Shammah, the Herite, the name indicates astonishment, or one who runs. He ruined the Philistines' party when they came out trying to forge it on a few of his little lentils and a few of his beans. He didn't need a lot. He just used what he had. You don't have to be many, just be mighty. Your whole family might walk out. Your whole family might backslide and leave the church, but you stay strong. You stay mighty. You stay true to God. All God needs is you. Great adversary of the enemy. That's what he wants. That's all he wants. He wants to destroy you. Jonathan said to his armor bearer, "Come now, it is time for victory." Right now. Turning this may be into a miracle. I may be facing a problem. I may be facing a dilemma. I may be facing hell. It seems like everywhere I turn. But turn your maybe into a miracle. The devil's a liar as I preach this sermon. Devil, you are a liar and you are the father of lies. Your maybes ain't going to work around here. I refuse to listen to your maybes. All you dwell on is a whim. And the only way you can get my territory is I've got to leave the gate open. If I don't leave the gate open, you can't even trespass on the land that God has gave me. God doesn't need a whole lot. He just needs you to be faithful. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. There's no rule that God says God can only deliver by using a big army. God has proven time and time again that it's not in quantity, it is in quality. Oh, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, what are you doing? I'm standing. But look at the thousands bowing, but I'm standing. What are you standing for? Because God don't need many. He just needs mighty. I want to fulfill the mighty side of God. I want to fulfill the solid side of God. David, why do you leave the sheep that they're in Bethlehem? And why in the world are you trekking down there? Because your daddy told you to take a few loaves of bread and some cheese to check on the army that's in array. What are you doing topping your little Rudy Red face over the top of that mountain? There's giants over there. And David said, oh, you forgot. He don't need many. He just needs mighty. And I remember when the bear come out and I slew it with my hand. I remember when the lion come out and I ripped him asunder. I'm going to tell you, this giant is not going to be no different because God's not looking for statue. He's looking for commitment. He's looking for faithfulness. He's looking for people that'll stay put with God. You mean to tell me Moses, just by one man, stretched forth his rod and the seas opened up? One woman named Esther stood up for her people for deliverance. One man named Joseph endured the pit to get to the palace. One man, Jesus, went to the cross to save the entire world. Billions of people can have salvation because of one man. God don't need many. God don't need showboaters. God don't need lamb lighters. Oh, if God put you there, that's fine, but don't you dare go looking for the lamb light. What God needs you to do is be mighty behind the scenes. He wants you to be mighty in your prayer meeting. He wants you to be mighty in your commitment. He wants you to be mighty in your integrity. Brother Mushi, last night as I was leaving Brahms, went and took him and bought him a hamburger and taking him home. He said, you know, Brother Jones, I got to picking at him because there was a young lady there you could tell that he went to school with, and she walked in and she said, oh, Mushy. And you could tell when she said that he was kind of backward, and he just starts picking him. I said, Mushy, I think she's after you. He said, I know. He said, Brother Jones, he said, the other day I was just standing in the food line. He said, she just walked up behind me and took my hand. He said, I jerked it back and said, hey, don't you be doing that. He said, you know, Brother Jones, I just can't talk to many. He said, because right there in Monette, they got a club that's growing. It's about taking. He said, it don't even make sense. And the name of it's Gay Straight. He said, how in the world can you get straight out being gay? I said, you know, you're right, Brother Mushy. That don't even make sense. He said, so I can't hardly talk to nobody. He said, because their vocabulary's nasty. He went on to say every conversation they're talking about is filthy. He says, so I kind of just stayed to myself. What is he trying to understand? God needs some mighty people. Oh, we got to live in a world, young folks. I know they're liable to talk trashy. I know they're liable to talk vulgar. And I know you have to sometimes go to school. I understand that. But when you're at school, just be mighty. When that conversation starts, just head the other direction. When that enemy comes in, just go the other way. That's all God needs. You can't defend the whole school, but you can be mighty and turn around and walk away and say, oh no, I'm saving my integrity because I'm in love with Jesus. Mighty men don't need a whole lot, just what we got. Just be mighty. Just be mighty. Get the other scripture, Brother Sean. I done read through them all. And he said unto me, my grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. But Brother Jones, you don't know what I'm facing. You don't know what I'm battling. You don't know the problem that I'm going through. You don't know. Let me tell you something. There's something about young marriages that the devil's just attacked. And that young man that called me, they hadn't been married very long at all and already having problems, and he's just pouring his heart out to me. I began to tell him, and tell you something, a family that prays together stays together. A family that prays together. It wasn't long right after they got married, both of them lost their job. He's attacked, and he's on my answering machine right now. He's begging me, he said, Brother Jones, can I just come where you're at? Can I just move? He said, even if my wife don't come, I want to go. And I said, well, now wait a minute. Why the enemy's attacking us? On every level, he's just totally trying to kick the props out from underneath us. He don't want you to be fun. He don't want you to have fun. He don't want you to be happy on your journey to heaven. He wants you to always be in distress and problems. He wants there to always be drama in your life. He wants there always to be somebody kind of like Job. Right after one runner come another runner. The devil always makes sure there's one escaper to come to bring you the bad news. Just to keep you oh God, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? How am I going to handle this situation? What am I going to do? I can't seem to take anymore. I just can't take it no more. How can I handle this, Brother Joe? You'd be surprised the people under the sound of my voice that are thinking these things in their mind. And God is sitting up on his lofty throne. I don't know why sometimes you have to face problems in life. I don't know why sometimes you have to face hell and problems have to come down your way. I don't understand all of life's questions, but I brought good news to tell you. If you can stay mighty, if you can stay strong, and you can stay committed, and you can stay true, that's all God needs. Marcus Lantrell writes in his book, The Lone Survivor, about the preparation for becoming a Navy SEAL. Physical exercise that is intended to break and bodily down, running miles on no end, push-ups by thousands, swimming in pounding tides of the Pacific, having to roll in the wet sand after the swim, and after you get through rolling in the wet sand, being forced to function the rest of the day with the sand all in your body. Lantrell said that the discomfort and the aggravation of the sand was almost enough to break any soldier down. Tack on this all the mental intimidation by the screaming, cursing sergeants, and the creation of the SEAL suddenly seems almost unreachable. Then comes the last week of the training, where marathons are run, forced to stay up 30 and 40 hours straight with only a couple hours of sleep, and then having to navigate the ocean in a rubber raft. Add to that having to crawl under the fire coming from live weapons, and then having to attack a body of soldiers and to extract a hostage. And you have a SEAL. Lantrell writes that 160 or so started his class. Somewhere around 30 managed to finish the class. That's all the devil's trying to do, is mentally break you down, trying to wear out the patience of the saints. Don't you understand? Every time you get that feeling, that's not every perfect and good gift comes from God, whom there's no variableness nor the shadow of lie. Let me tell you something. That feeling is the devil trying to get you to throw in the towel and just surrender. I'll never make it. I'm not going to make it. I'm just not good enough. It seems like every time I'm turning around, I'm bombarded by another problem. another bad news, another situation is coming in, and I'm facing hell every day that I live, over and over and over. I'm facing problems. I brought good news to tell you. The devil just wants your half acre. He just wants you to surrender. He just wants you to quit. He just wants you to give up. Young folks, any given time you want to, you can throw in the towel and be just like them. You can erase it all and walk out the doors and become just like them. But it takes integrity. It takes faithfulness. It takes commitment to get where you're at. Don't you dare throw it away. He don't need many, just mighty. All he needs is you to let him know, God, you can count on me. I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to surrender. No man can stop. You can't make it without God. Jonathan went back, I believe, in his mind to the stories of what God had did for them in the yesteryear. And he said, it's time for me to recover. I don't need a lot of territory. I don't need a lot of strategy. I don't need my landmines here. He said that Jonathan slew the enemy and took care of them in about the size of a half acre. 21,000 square feet to be exact, plus a few more numbers. That's what the square footage of a half an acre is. A full acre is 41,000 and some square foot. But he said, I don't even need a whole acre to take care of you. I'm just going to take care of you in this little half acre right here. Is that all you got to offer? You mean to tell me that I'm going to defeat your arsenal? I come to tell you, you can take on hell itself by yourself. It would be good if everybody would get with you because we need to, but if you have to, and no one else will stand with you, and no one else will be committed with you, you can take hell and his imps all by your lonesome. You don't need the entire army. All you need is yourself. Stay faithful and stay committed because you're going to win the battle. Stay committed. Stay true. Because God has got it all in control. Can we lift our hands for a moment? I don't need many. Oh, I hope over these holidays that family just rush your house and y'all just have love and a lot of good time. But if something happens and all hell is broke loose and you have to stand by yourself, don't you ever forget, God will stand with you. So proud of everybody, so entire church. But I just picked up on line just a while ago, and earlier today, and I read where these young ladies are starting that Bible study. Good job. Get in there and encourage one another every chance you get. Because if I ever seen such an attack from hell, I have seen it today. Where he's trying to put mother against father. Child against mother, sister against sister, trying to totally just take the world. He wants you to live in it but not happy. The days of sitting around the house, laughing and joking till midnight, dipping your cookies in milk, with a family everywhere, neighborhoods all around you, are far and few between anymore. We're so wrapped up in a world that's busy that mama's going one direction, daddy's going the other. Life is in such a turmoil that we come home so stressed out, so on edge, that if someone says something, what do you want? I know. How do you know, Brother Jones? Because my son, oh, Brother Logan, if anybody can wear on your patience, it would be Brother Logan. And if he knows he's getting that little bit of sand under your belt, it's not turning into an oyster, I can tell you, or a pearl. I'm going to tell you what it's turning into. Blister. The other day, I must have snapped. He said, oh, Dad, you need some patience. The devil wants to keep us so out of balance. Because if you ever get your balance and you get back where you need to be with God, you're a one-man wrecking crew. He wants to keep you on edge at all times. You know what? My prayer is that no one in here ever loses their job. No one ever calls and says, the boss never says you're fired. I hope it never happens. But can I tell you, if it happens, God will give you another one. But look the devil right in the eyeball and say, I was looking for a job when I found that one. Because you're not going to get my happiness if I have to camp out on this half acre, this 21,000 square feet of what little bit, it ain't even enough to be a city lot. Matter of fact, I can't even put a septic tank on a half acre anymore. You're not going to get it. I'm going to live on my half acre happy. Because God didn't say I have to have many. He just wants me to be mighty. And what makes us mighty is not nothing to do within ourselves, but it's all in Him. I don't know exactly why I'm preaching like I'm preaching tonight. Encourage myself and you alike. But I want you to understand that God doesn't need many. Do you realize God can take what's in this service right now and turn this city upside down? Oh, was Tuesday night prayer meeting powerful? Thank you, Sister Miracle, for what you put on there. Said it was awesome. Thank you for just God don't need a whole lot. He just needs someone to take the hem of the altar and say, in spite of it all, I'm going to be happy. People's mad. The world's mad. The liberals are mad. Aggravated. College kids needing people to counseling because they lost the election. Idiots. Closing classes. I don't care whoever wins, whatever their name is. It's not about the person running. It's life. Get on, let's go on with it. You ever seen such a mess? Powders. The candidate didn't win. That one college said, we're not even going to finish our test. It ain't the student's fault. It's the dingbats that allow them to say that. They should say, fine, go home. You don't need your certificate. But no, we got to sit there and we got to, it'll be okay. It'll be all right. Oh, it'll be okay. They'll still keep handing out the handouts. Don't worry. You'll get your free stuff. old times. Fall down, get up, go on. If you ain't bleeding, you're all right. Get over it. Why? Because we feel like the more we can suck into our little pity party, the more people we can suck in and cause all the rioting and destroy everything. It looks like it ain't. God don't need He don't need a whole lot of folks. He just needs a few to stand up. Oh, just stand up for what's right. Eagles fly alone. Lions hunt alone. Sometimes you got to walk alone. Just walk. And let God fight your battles. There's no way I'm going to finish. No way off a kilter. Let us stand tonight. Saul, you was the mighty man, but you're underneath a little pomegranate tree over there. You're done gave up. Jonathan, where you at? I'm on my half acre. I'm on my half acre.